Well, the weekend has begun. As you know, a lot of things are taking place in the world of pro wrestling. But for today's episode, we're just going to focus on three shows. The first one is going to be from New Japan Pro Wrestling. As you know, they begun with Super Junior Tag League, which is the annual tournament for junior heavyweight competitors in a tag team setting. So this is only just day one, but we will see how far we're gone before we head to Power Struggle. And then we move on with a two double show by AEW. The first one is Collision. Of course, we're going to see a couple of good matches taking place. And then, of course, we move on with Battle of the Belts 8, where we have four championship belts defended. And then we moved on with, of course, with news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who is booked, what matches are set, any wrestlers that either been signed or been departed from the promotions, any injured wrestlers, the whole enchilada. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of reviews on various wrestling events, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where wrestling is not as big, but it is growing. And of course, we throw in some discussion videos, more news updates, some updates alert what's been going on in real timing, and various other things. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us on the subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff on this channel. And of course, if you guys like this episode, give us a nice like button or a nice comment down below. Now, our very first review is from New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is the beginning with the Super Junior Tag League. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with this tournament, is an annual tournament where the junior heavyweight competitors compete in a tag team matches for a shot of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title. So this is something that has been done. Last year's winners was none other than Yo and Leo Rush, but however, because that Yo had to get another partner, and he did. He went to Michinoku Pro Wrestling and teamed up with Musashi. And there's other good teams, so we're only gonna have 5 matches. So let's, you know what? Let's focus on those matches of the Super Junior Tag League instead. That way we can get everything out of the way. Our first match, we have TMDK, consistent of Kosa Fujita and Robbie Eagles, taking on Catch 2 of the United Empire, Francesco Akira and TJP. Now, of course, many people would say Catch 2 will be the fan favorite, but however, we have been seeing growing success within TMDK ever since they were sort of formed to be in New Japan. But however, in this case, they did put up a good match, but Kosa Fujita was the one that suffered a 2-2 by Catch 2 in order to proceed. So, Catch 2 walk away with 2 points with 1 win so far, and of course, TMDK 0 points. Our second match, we have members of just 5 guys, consistent of Taka Michinoku and Doiki, taking on the Jet Setters, Kevin Knight, and of course Kushida. Now, keep in mind, Kushida and Kevin Knight has competed for the junior heavyweight tag team titles recently, but they completely lost. They are another team we definitely got to be paying attention to. But However, in this particular match, it was Kushida with the hoverboard lock onto Taka Michinoku to force him to tap out. And of course, Jet Setters walk away with 2 points with 1 win so far, while of course, Just 5 Guys, 0. Just like that. Now, our next match, we have a very unusual match. Team number 1, DKC, he teams up with none other than Ryosuke Taguchi, while their opponent is a very unusual team, Master Wato and El Desperado. Now, if you guys know this or not, Wato used to team up with Taguchi. They were known as 6 or 9. Uh, they're not even teaming, which is weird. But however, Wato and Desperado, they have been odds with each other on various occasions. Those odds were is Wato was the one that defeated him when he was still champion during a tag team match that gave him an opportunity for a shot of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, but was unsuccessful to obtain it. But of course, he did win the Best of the Super Juniors early this year, but however, he was not close. But seeing Desperado and Wato team up, it was a very unusual match. However, it was Wato with the Sutentaku German onto DKC to win, but Desperado decided to leave the building, acting like he has to catch a train. So Wato was the only one who was celebrating all by himself. So very unusual partnership. Now, our next team in the match. Oh, hold on, let me go back. As for Wato and Despe, of course, they walk away with 2 points with 1 win so far, while DKC and Taguchi 0. Now, our next match, we have Musashi teaming up with Yo. Now, this team was formed when Yo had to find a tag partner, so he went to Michinoku Pro Wrestling and asked Musashi to be his tag partner. But their opponents are the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. We're talking about Joel Maloney and Clark Connors, the Bullet Club War Dogs. Now, however, you know that they'll do whatever it takes, the War Dogs, to ensure that this match remain the same, and they would rather win the entire tournament so they can choose who they want the challenge for the titles. But however, it was exactly like how expected. The War Dogs were able to coexist and, of course, put the full clip onto Yo to win the match, giving them 2 points right from there. Now, our main event is the most hated group ever, the biggest a-holes, the House of Torture, Kanemaru, the little turncoat, and of course, Sho, that despicable KOPW champion, take on, of course, LIJ, Titan, and Bushi. I have to say, Bushi and Titan are now my favorites to win this tournament. They were so close last year. But however, this is as a typical match when it comes to the House of Torture. You know that Evil, Yujiro, and Dick Togo were not going to be far to ensure that this match goes in their favor. But oh my God, LIJ stuck to their guns. They fought right through these garbages, traps, and dirty tricks. But it was El Ángel Mortal by Titan that put away, what was it? Put away Sho and pick up the pinfall right from there. Now, I don't know if Titan is aware of this. He pinned Sho. He could have an opportunity of the KOPW championship. He could do that if that's what he wants, but we'll see what happens until then. So, like I said before, they are the team that I'm definitely rooting for to win the entire tournament. So I think that's pretty much it right now with New Japan. I believe it's time to move on with AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. Now, our opening match is what you can call a dream match, but however, they have faced each other before, but not in AEW, but also in, of course, WWE. And basically, this was a pretty good match. I have to say, not going to be wrong about it. However, this match was exactly like we all expected. Now, I'm not sure exactly what Bryan Danielson used to pick up the win. It looked more like, to me, from watching this, a crucifix, but it wasn't. I don't know if that's for sure, but he picked up a good win and, of course, showed a lot of high respects for Andrade for a pretty good match. However, once the match was over, lights turned off, nobody knew what happened. It was Malachi Black who showed up and decided to give the black masses onto him. And of course, Yuta and Claudio showed up to give a helping hand, but of course, Malachi just took off. Now, Darby Allin, as you know, he took offense of what happened this past Wednesday during the sit down with JR and with Nick and his mom. However, he said that he's going to make him regret for listening to what other people were saying. So basically, he's going to make that regret for the rest of his life. But he said that he will be on Dynamite if he's looking for retribution, because he's going to give a special gift. Tony Khan is going to give a special gift to Sting. And of course, Darby Allin has a pretty good idea what kind of gift that would be. So I don't know what it is, but I can take a wild guess. But I'm not going to say it until it happens. But we'll see. Now, our next match, we see Sky Blue versus Hollywood Harley. Now, Sky Blue has changed her ways, as you know, not being all cheery, all happy, and all this, interacting with the fans. This happened right after she was blackmissed by Julia Hart. However, you can say this match is a way of building up her character, the direction they're going to go. She was able to apply the code blue to pick up a good win. Next up, we have the Ass Boys, Colton and Austin Gunn, along with Jay White, to take on the Outlanders. This match ended with that one finisher. I don't even know what to call it. However, when that happened, apparently during the post-match, lights went out, and then you see the devil himself. Now, Jay White believes in his own godforsaken way that MJF was responsible for his attack, but MJF swore to him that he may be a scumbag, but however, he doesn't hide from what the things that he does. Even if he does attack Jay White, he would have admitted it. However, Jay White doesn't believe that. He thinks that he's no scumbag one way or the other. But the obvious question does tell: is MJF telling the truth? Did someone else stole his mask and framed them? Well, we'll see what happens. But because the way I see it, Jay White got spooked. Now, we do see an interview with Lexi talking with, of course, Orange Cassidy and Chris Allen, who are preparing for their upcoming matches to put their titles on the line. So that's going to be interesting. So that's going to happen on Battle of the Belts right after Collision. Now, our next match we have is a Memphis Street Fight. Jeff Jarrett versus Eddie Kingston. Now, the stipulation is if Jeff Jarrett wins, Jay White gets an opportunity of the Ring of Honor Championship against Eddie Kingston. Now, this whole story happens when Jay White, who felt disgusted and felt that Eddie Kingston has defaced the Ring of Honor. However, that weasel Stokely Hathaway decided to set up this match in order to ensure, whatever reason, he has a problem with Eddie Kingston. But I figured that this match was going to be a Memphis Street Fight, not to mention the dickwads were going to get involved. I'm talking about Karen Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, and that big dumb brute Satnam Singh. So they were going to get involved regardless. But of course, Jeff Jarrett picked up the win by pinning Eddie Kingston. That gives Jay Lethal the opportunity. But they think this is over right from there. But however, don't count out Eddie Kingston just yet. So we'll see. But he had a little bit of something to say later on. He tells Jay, if you show up with your friends, with the dickwads, from what he's saying, that he's such a coward. He talks about doing this man to man. If he shows up, it just proves Eddie Kingston's point. And then he said that he's going to humiliate him right in front of his family when they go to Philly. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, we do see the Acclaim. As you know, they're self-aware that, of course, Matt Menard and Garcia, did they finally put their differences aside after this? Because at Battle of the Belts, they will put the trios titles on the line. Well, we just gotta wait and see until then. Now, before our next match, we have CJ Perry making her way to ringside because Action Andretti takes on Miro. Now, Miro made the initial attack against Action Andretti, who does not appreciate the fact that his wife decides to manage some other talent. But Action did put up a good fight, but however, it wasn't enough until Miro applied the camel clutch, and it was over right from there. Now, we do now Lexi Neer, on the other hand, as you know, wanted to know, did they really squash the beef between Menard and Garcia? Well, according to them, that they kind of did, but we'll see what happens. And then Ruby Soho comes out saying that she does have an opportunity to challenge, facing Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. So we'll see about that when it happens. Now, a very interesting video package has come around with La Facción Ingobernable. Rush has now made it declared that they'll be back. We don't know when, but I'm sure everybody should be afraid of them now. Now, we do see a tag match. We were supposed to have FTR and two other guys. However, the match ended in a no contest when the House of Black showed up and attacked them. We saw that they attacked Bryan Danielson. We don't know why, but now FTR. But our main event is the AEW World Tag Team titles. We have the BCC, Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli challenging Big Bill and Ricky Starks. However, the match wasn't fantastic. It was a fantastic match. I mean, it's exactly what happened. But of course, the House of Black got in the way to cost the BCC their tag titles. Until, of course, there was the Rochambeau that was applied, and it was over right from there. And then the beatdown from the House of Black. Bryan Danielson shows up, and then FTR shows up, and of course Jon Moxley. So basically, when Jon Moxley came out, it was already over from there. However, you see the House of Black walked away when Ricky Starks went in the ring, and of course FTR and House of Black took out Ricky Starks. So we'll see what happens down in the future for them. So I think that's pretty much it right now with Collision. Let's move on with Battle of the Belts. Okay, Battle of the Belts by AEW. This is number 8 so far. It opened up with the AEW International Championship starting. However, OC, Orange Cassidy, was on his way to the ring until he bumped into Jon Moxley. So it looks more like there's going to be a feud once again between them. If you guys remember, it was Jon Moxley who dethroned Orange Cassidy, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, they face against John Silver. Now, of course, we're going to expect to see a brand new John Silver, much aggressive, much more dangerous. But of course, we were going to see Alex Reynolds get involved by making sure this match falls into John Silver's way. But however, it was the Orange Punch that put away John Silver for Orange Cassidy to, of course, retain the title. Now, our next interview, as you know, we already witnessed what took place in on Collision. Andrade comes out. He was about to speak until CJ Perry seems like she's interested in being his manager. Now, Andrade seems confused. I don't know. A part of me would like to say that, okay, his wife is not going to like that all too bit. But we'll see. I mean, I know Mero's not going to like that all well. Now, our next match is the ROH World Television Championship. Tony Nese versus Samoa Joe. Now, you know perfectly well this match was going to fall in favor to Samoa Joe. Of course, he ended up with the Muscle Buster. However, as soon as the match was over, during the post-match, he calls out, of course, MJF, saying that he has unfinished business. So basically, MJF has tons of opponents coming his way. Kenny Omega, Wardlow, Samoa Joe. So basically, he has enemies coming left and right. So we'll see what happens. Our next match, we have the TBS Championship. Willow Nightingale taking on Chris Sandler. I have to say this is a pretty good match because powerhouses were mattered in this particular match. Many people probably would have assumed Willow Nightingale will finally get her AEW Championship match that she deserves to win. There was moments you can tell that Chris Sandler could not pull up Saturday Night Fever, but she was able to apply a 450 splash in order to pick up the win. Now, as soon as the match was over, Willow Nightingale shook the hands of Chris Statlander, but however, Sky Blue was not too keen on what was going on. I don't know what is going on with how this plays out, but it seems interesting how Sky Blue has changed. But we'll continue to follow. Now, Lex Luger, as you know, conducted an interview with Orange Cassidy. Apparently, like I said, there was still unfinished business between him and Jon Moxley. So it's been announced that there's going to be a tag match. Orange Cassidy will team up with Kazuchika Okada from New Japan to take on the BCC, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, our main event is the AEW World's Trios titles. Cool Hands, Angelo Parker, Daddy Magic Matt Menard, and Daniel Garcia. So they face the Acclaim, and Daddy asked for the Trios titles. However, you probably would have assumed because of this match that Garcia was about to do his dance. Well, he was about to do that, but it did wasted time for him because it was Bowens who picked up the win by pinning Garcia, and that was it. I don't know what Matt Menard would do now, but I'm sure he is not happy with the results. So we'll see what happens next week or throughout the week, but whatever comes first. So right now, let's move on with our last review, and that is our last thing to do, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you so far. Now, as you may or may not have been aware, there has been a lot of recruits for WWE that they tried out. 3 names have been mentioned that they will be reporting to the Performance Center starting January of 2024. But that means that as of right now, they should be finishing up whatever bookings they got left until then. The names they mention is Brogan Finley, the son of Dave Finley and the brother of current New Japan star David Finley. We have Lucky Ali and Jay Malachi, guys who you may have seen in Deadlock Pro Wrestling. So these are 3 of the recruits so far. Recently, I did see a clip where Brogan Finley announced that he was finished with this one promotion, that it was his last match there. So it appears that he'll be WWE bound. Now, update for the Prestige Wrestling and Tokyo Pro Wrestling show, Combat Princes, that took place on the 14th of December. Maki Ito, Miyu Yamashita will be teaming up once again, and they take on MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich. Yoshi Promotion, on their social media page, they announced that they will be making a ground attack against Oz Academy. The reason behind that, Marvelous was invaded by Mayumi Ozaki, the leader of Ozaki-gun from Oz Academy. So it appears that they're not pleased with what they've been doing to them. So they took now the top title, the AEW title, from Mio Momono. So it looks more like they're going to start a war with them. But we'll see what happens from here on out. Now, as you may or may not have heard, Ikemen Jiro returned to Japan and it was announced on several appearances on various Japanese promotion. The first one is from Dragon Gate. He'll be appearing in a show on the 7th of November, taking on Yamato. But the much recent development, he headed to DDT Pro Wrestling, and he will be at the Ultimate Party on the 12th of November, and he'll be facing against Takeshi Masada. Apparently, Ikemen Jiro is good friends with Konosuke Takeshita, and he told him to deal with that little brat. So basically, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm kind of looking forward to see how this one plays out. But I think that's pretty much it with our news update. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I do have, of course, the latest no, not Choke Bro, Got to Move show that just took place recently. Um, Also, we have Bound for Glory. So those two are a priority. Now, if there's any other shows prior to that, there's still some I haven't seen yet, like Warrior Wrestling, Wrestling Revolvers, Revolver Redemption, and Tales from the Ring. So there's still more to come for this month that I haven't witnessed yet, but we'll get to those as soon as possible. But as of right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.